What's up, everybody? So today we're going to go ahead and change the IACV valve. I've been complaining about it a lot, it dumping a whole bunch of fuel. So we're going to be taking this off here, Airbox. We're going to get down to the throttle body, right down in here. We're going to remove the throttle body, remove this idle air control valve from right here, and then we have our new one. Comes with a gasket, so nice and shiny. Put our gasket down, and you can see the insides, nice and shiny, nice and clean. Way different than the stock one that's on there now. Also, the screws are not rusted off. So we tried to get this to work, but the screws on the other ones are all rusted shut. So let's get to work. First thing we'll do is remove this air box, air filter. One back here too. Pop this part right here free. Get that out of the way. Take our air filter out. And then down in there you can see the throttle body. This whole assembly right here pops up, but first there's a bolt back behind here. We'll see if we can show it to you before we get started. So right here's the bolt that we need to take off. That takes off this clamp here, and then we can remove the bottom of this airbox. I'm gonna get a ratchet on that guy. So we're gonna loosen her up, turn it away from the battery here, just to give you some perspective. Alright, she feels pretty loose now, so we're gonna get her off here. We're just gonna remove this clamp here. Alright, so we have that off. Let's see if we can remove this sensor. Get that out. Now we should be able to pull this straight up. Wiggle our way through. Got that off here, guys. So now this can go straight up. As you can see here, we have the throttle body. We're going to be taking out these bolts right here. We're also going to need to take off these two hoses. So there's two hoses here. There's a sensor here that needs to be disconnected, and there's a sensor right here. Looks like the throttle position sensor, but I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that. So we're going to take these two little clamps off here. So we have one, push that guy back, and I'm going to pull this hose back a little bit. Sometimes they're a little stuck, so you can use some vice grips, but you don't want to do it too hard. Just grab it lightly and start pulling back. We got the first one off. That didn't feel good. I think that was some hot antifreeze. That's why you probably shouldn't do this when the engine's hot. And we have another one right here underneath. We're going to get our vice grips down in there. Now we need to pull it to the side a little bit more. So I'm just trying to get it to wrap around this part. Now, of course, you can take the fuel rail off. That's the easier way to do it, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm just kind of peeling back, which I know this is the wrong way to do it, but for now it's the easiest way. So you can see I popped it off there. Now we're going to remove the throttle body. Alright, so now we have the 12mm socket right here, and that's what we're going to use to get these bolts off of the throttle body right here. So we do have an extension on it because that makes it a little bit easier. So we got the first one out. So as you can see, there's one back here. I'm going to get that guy off now. So now with any luck, we'll just pull these sensors off. Get the back one here, which I probably should have pulled these off first, but it's okay, we got it. And let's see if we can get this little guy off. Yep. So let's pull her out. Got to detach this throttle body cable. So we got that loose there. And one more sensor here in the back. Got that. Now we have the throttle body out. So as you can see, guys, it's kind of old. Very old, actually. Here's the rusted screws I was talking about. So we wanted to just clean it out, but that didn't happen that way. So we're going to take off these 4 bolts right here, and once we get those off, we'll be able to install the new idle air control valve. So these bolts that you see right here are 8mm bolts. So we're going to get our 8mm socket. Got that prepared, and now we're going to go ahead and remove these. It's a little bit of a tight fit, so. We almost have the idle air control valve off. So here's the throttle body without the idle air control valve on it. So we're going to be putting a new one on there, so we're going to be pulling it out and putting a new one in just to keep it fresh. We're also going to be replacing this gasket right here. So this is one thing that you want to do as well. If you're going to do this job, you should replace this gasket as well. So we have a new one of these, so you can see that this is going to go right on there, I guess in this position here. This is an advanced auto part for the throttle body for the manual transmission, so that's what we're going to be putting on there. Here's the old idle air control valve right here. So as you can see, it's kind of not so great on the inside, and then again there's those screws right there that we could not get out. I was just going to clean this out and not have to replace the whole thing, but since I can't actually get in there to make that spin, there's no way to use it. So we have a new part. So here's our brand new idle air control valve. That's going to go on right here, guys. And once that's on there, we're going to be able to put all this back together, and when we start it up, she's not going to be droning anymore. She's going to be running great. Here's our new gasket right here. Just going to press that into place. Make sure it gets a good seal when we set this up, because we don't want any leaks. So now we're going to get the idle air control valve. This does not come with new screws, guys, so make sure you do save and don't strip the screws in your current idle air control valve. So we're just going to put that in there a little bit to hold it. Grab another screw, get that one down here. And I'm just going to put all 4 in, tightened a little bit. I'm going to tighten these up a little bit more off camera, but I just wanted to show you guys how you do it. I'm doing this one-handed, so you got to bear with me on some of this stuff, but this is basically, you're going to get the job done. You follow these instructions. So this is pretty easy. It's not too bad. There's only 2 gaskets to replace, so you have your new one there, and then again we're going to be replacing this one here. But let me go ahead and get this tightened up, and we'll get to the next step. Of course, you don't want to over tighten these and strip your threads, so be mindful of that. Alright, so we have the idle air control valve back on our throttle body, and we're ready to install it back into the car. But first, we're going to install our throttle body gasket. We're going to go ahead and remove the old one. Carefully, because we don't want to leave anything behind here. Alright, so as you can see, here's the old throttle body gasket. right here. So we're going to go ahead and get this new guy on there. Got the new one right here, ready to go. So we're going to place this down over this one stud that comes out. And as you can see, it should line up pretty much exactly how the other one did. So it's ready to go now. We're going to go ahead and lower the throttle body down onto this piece. So as we lower this down, I'm going to go ahead and connect up these little hoses as much as possible before we get this set in place. The bottom one is kind of going on there, but this part is a little bit of a pain in the rear, and it's definitely going to be difficult to shoot this, so sorry about the camera angles here, but I'm trying to give you a good representation so you can see exactly how these go on. So you have this hose here, that's the top, this lower hose right here goes on the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and get that connected up now. I'm just going to take this clamp and pull it up on the hose all the way up on this little piece on the bottom. Kind of wiggle it on. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and release this clamp also. Now that we got it up a little bit further, just keep wiggling it on. A little bit of extra work to not take this fuel rail off, but at the same time, it probably got done a lot quicker. Alright, so that's locked on. It's not coming off. We can go ahead and put our throttle body bolts back in. So now we're on the back passenger side bolt now. So it's going great. We got everything going in here. We went ahead and installed the new idle air control valve right here. So that's all mounted up and ready to go. We're going to go ahead and put the rest of this throttle back together, put all the sensors on, all the connections for that, and then we're going to start it up and give it a try. Alright, so let's get to the sensors. Here's the one for the idle air control valve right here. And we're going to pop this guy back on. I don't know what this sensor is, but it looks like the throttle body position sensor. Pop that guy back on. Then we have one more sensor back here, which I thought was throttle position sensor, but now I don't, because I think this is probably the throttle position sensor here. Not sure what this is, but obviously we need it. So we're going to put that back on. And then of course we have our map sensor here. So we're going to go ahead and put the throttle cable back on. And I do that by pushing the in with the little anchor on it. Right through here to this little hole, get it lined up, and then I twist it around, pull the throttle down a little bit, and let that thing loop right in there. So there we go, so that's back on. Now we're going to lower this down, which is the bottom of our airbox, and eventually, like I said, we're going to have to tighten this up again on the other side, but for now, we're just going to push it down. Alright, so we got that tightened down. Now we're going to go ahead and put the hose back on. Tighten this on here. And we're going to put the map sensor back in. At least I think it's a map sensor. And there's a little brown piece here you'll see. We're going to push that up through. Alright, so now we can put the air filter back on. Airbox back together here. clamp it down good. There's two little pipe things coming off of this. These need to go directly down into these holes, so make sure you line that up. Alright. She's back together. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start the engine up now. Well, unfortunately, everything I've done today to get this ISEV to work has not worked. The last thing I just tried was putting antifreeze in, because that was one of the things on the forum, on the Honda Tech forum, that said that, you know, potentially if it's not a vacuum leak, then that might be the cause of it. Now, it seems like the vacuum leak's gone, but I'm still having that issue, so I don't know, there might be one. So we're going to try to work on it over the weekend and get you guys an update. But thanks for watching. You know, I wish that we would have had some better stuff that happened for us, but it's alright. You know, you win some, you lose some. At least the car still runs and it's still going to get me to work. But thanks again. Peace.